It's hard not to be a fan of a credit card that gives you more while saving you money every single day. The Illini Visa Rewards Card, available only through U of I Community Credit Union.
Welcome back to the Thursday walkthrough here with Coach Lovie Smith. Coach, coming after the good win against Murray State, thought one good place to start would be how you guys started off the game. Second play here, Julian Hilton winds up with the interception. Murray State comes out, 4 receivers. This looks like man coverage here, Coach. Is that what we're working with?
Yes, that's exactly what we were working with. We felt like we had good matchups going into the game. We knew that they were a spread, attack. And we felt like, our front could put pressure on them. We could make the balls come out, and it's exactly how we drew it up. We got good pressure. Julian Hilton playing man coverage on the tight end that was removed out of the core. He was looking through the man to the quarterback. Great interception to start it off.
Well, and looks like from his initial alignment, it's lined up outside. The reason for lining up outside of the receiver there?
Well, we'll, different times we'll either play inside or outside man. But as a general rule, we line up outside. You can periph through the receiver to the quarterback. The only way you can really make an interception is to see the ball. So if you're playing outside, a lot of times it helps you do that.
And so one thing that Julian did a really good job of here was, as you said, just kind of looking the ball in. But one of the things you often see defensive backs struggle with sometimes is when to look for the ball. When do you guys coach them to really turn and look for the ball?
When you have control first you need control of the receiver. It's as simple as that. And there's different ways we play it, whether you're inside or outside. But when you have control of the receiver, and I'm talking about when he's in your vision, as you look at this play, Julian had full control outside of the receiver. Now, once the ball is in the air, it's about, and you're not a defender anymore. You're the receiver. Go get the football.
Go get it.
And that's what Julian was able to do. As we work to the next week, as we talk to Julian and say, hey, Julian, great play. Try to keep your feet next time, all right? Keep your feet, turn, and go from defense to offense, because our number one goal, of course, on the defensive side is to score.
Absolutely. Well, and it's interesting, Julian being listed as the strong safety. There was a time where the strong safety coverage skills weren't as important. That was your enforcer really in the box. But as football has continued to evolve, it's coverage skills like this that are more important than ever.
Yes, and most people say strong safety, free safety, but really, we play 2 safeties, and both of our safeties need to be able to cover, because both of them will be in a man-to-man situation. They need to be able to blitz, and then have some zone awareness. And then the last thing, not necessarily last, we want to be able to hit, but they need to be able to catch the ball. Simple as that. A lot of times, they say you play defensive back because you can't catch the ball and play wide receiver, but we need our DBs to catch the ball also. Yeah,
well, did a good job catching a few last Saturday. And as we look forward to North Carolina, obviously a very potent offense, a very good team overall, won a lot of games last year. One thing that North Carolina and Larry Fedora like to do is they like to speed up the tempo on offense. How important is it, how much of a point of emphasis is communication on defense when you're going against a really up-tempo attack?
Communication is always important, but it really is there. And we have code words that we use, different ways of communicating the defense and the call to everyone. Everyone will look to the sideline. Again, we have visuals that they see too, but it is important. And when one person gets it, he barks it out to make sure everybody else is on the same page. Playing hurry-up teams, of course, it is at a premium. But most teams now in college football run some form of hurry-up. You don't see a lot of teams, defenses having the luxury of huddling up and making sure everything is all set before you break. That's just a base part of what you do. That's life in NCAA football now.
Well, and one of the things that I'm sure will be there on Saturday night against North Carolina is the sound, is the roar of the crowd. And so that obviously adds a different little bit layer of complication in terms of communication on defense, but that can also provide a huge advantage in terms of getting off the ball.
Yes, and I think the advantage is to the home team. Our crowd, we have an excellent crowd. They were great last week. We're going to need them this week, but that's making the communication, as we talk about defensive communication, yes, offense has to do the same thing. And all defensive linemen would say that they do have the advantage a little bit. I think in an ideal world, you would like to have your offensive guys all get together and start off to make sure all protections are right too. So it can be a detriment a little bit going no hull, I feel like also.
Well, and special teams a lot of times is called the third phase of the game. Sometimes they're the hidden yards there.
Yes.
And North Carolina's special teams unit is very accomplished. Ryan Switzer, the punt returner, had a punt return for touchdown against Illinois last year in Chapel Hill.
I'm told about that.
And Logan, the kick returner, had one last week.
Yes.
So just, how much of a point of emphasis does that become in every one of the special teams meeting as to, hey, where are these guys in a given return?
It's just not coach talk that you need all three phases to play well to win football games. And North Carolina, of course, is a perfect example of that. They do. They have two not good returners, two excellent returners that are about as good as any in the country. Switzer, of course, is a special player. We'll just need to be disciplined. It's as simple as that. Our coverage units will be put to the test. And you can win games that way. You can lose football games that way also. But we'll put a big emphasis on it like we have, and our guys are going to come through.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking time, and thanks for stopping by the Thursday walkthrough.